like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, if you'd like to come up, we're going to read a proclamation to start with.
Glasses?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, if you want to read.
I think we've got Woody Woolridge and Scott Brown.
Scott's not with us today. We had to change.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
how are you?
Good.
Good. What's your name?
Woody.
Woody. You are Woody.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Scott's not with us.
Okay.
Oh.
Woody, you work at Kroger's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm putting it all together here. All right, this is October is the National Disability Employment Awareness Month here in Clermont County, as well as everywhere else. But whereas workplace welcoming of the talents of people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community, and whereas the United States economy is supported by a workforce that is notable for its diversity, and whereas ensuring that all Americans, including those with disabilities, have the opportunity to reach their full potential will strengthen and maintain the businesses here in Clermont County. And whereas the United States no longer underestimates the ability of Americans with disability due to the signing of the American Disabilities Act in 1990. And whereas our community strives to raise awareness about disabilities of Americans with disabilities due to the signing, whereas our community strives to raise awareness about disability employment issues and celebrates that many and varied contributions of people with disabilities. And whereas the strides we have made in Clermont County, and we welcome the Governor of Ohio's Employment First initiative, and whereas employment is the key to economic security for Americans, and it's up to all of us, county and community leaders, employers, and people with disabilities, to break down attitudinal barriers and open business doors to let employees with disabilities in. And we must all think ability, not disability, and encouraging others to do the same. Now therefore be it proclaimed that we, the county commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2017 as Disability Employment Awareness Month in Clermont County. This year's national theme is Inclusive Drives Innovation. We encourage the community to celebrate this theme and call upon Clermont County citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, business and schools to reaffirm our determination to create equal employment opportunities for people with disabilities in our communities. And this was signed by myself, Commissioner Humphrey, Vice President, and David Painter, member. So, Woody, I'll give that to you. Do that.
Thank you.
Proclamation. We're going to do a picture, but
Yes.
Lisa, do you want to say anything more? You got a piece of paper. I didn't know if you had comments
No,
or.
I had it in my hand. But
Okay.
no, thank you so much
Yeah.
for allowing us to be here. This is Darren Long. He's the program
Hey,
manager
Darren.
for the
Thank you.
Community Employment Department. We're so happy that Woody was able to be here because he's actually going to be on some billboards that we're doing with a collaboration with 6 other counties,
Yep.
5 other counties, and us, in support of National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Sure.
So lots of exciting things happening in October.
And Woody, you work at Kroger's in Mount Carmel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
What do you do there, and how long have you been there?
I've been there.
Just over here. We got a microphone. We're going to pick you up. This is on television.
Okay. I've been working there for two years.
Uh-huh. And what do you do there?
I'm a bagger.
Uh-huh. You've met a lot of new friends and
Yeah.
customers, and you see the regulars all the time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice place to be every day? Or how often do you work?
Sunday and Tuesday.
Uh-huh. Good. Very good.
I went there to take a picture of him, and I had to wait several minutes, a little while, because he was taking care of so many of his customers, and everybody had a smile on their face. Everybody happened to be going through Woody's line.
Uh-huh.
So we took a picture, put it on our Facebook page, and I think in 2 days' time we had about 3,700 comments that were on there and likes and shares. So
Nice.
He's a pretty popular guy at Mount Carmel Kroger.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that smile,
He's
you
got the
know?
smile,
He
that's
truly
right.
does. That helps, especially in the customer service business. But, well, after today being on cable TV, you'll be a celebrity. Not that you are already one, but
All
this
those
only
people
helps.
that you see in Kroger, they will see you on television.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can we go ahead and get pictures?
Woody, let's get up
Can we
here.
go
We're
around
going to
the
get a
front?
picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, my support. You bet.
All right, Woody, go
Why
ahead
don't you
and step on
stand in front of the Ohio logo here. Yeah.
See you. Get up there, take pictures.
Just hold this like that, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you have a girlfriend, you can call and tell her you're on TV.
Wait, we've got a few more pictures.
Wait, we got more pictures.
All right.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Don't move.
Wait, you get another one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Retake one. Thank you again very much for your
Thank
support.
you.
Yes, and thank you for your recognition of the support subject. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Whitney, thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Wouldn't have been to see you.
I'll have to start shopping at Mount Carmel Kroger's here.
Thank you, Woody. Thank you.
All right, next, do we want to do the discussion with the Board of Elections? Did we do that? Judy and Julia Carney, you guys want to come on up? Is that how that's going to work? You going to present, or how are we going to handle this?
Well, we can just talk about it and discuss it, and then Judy's here really to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay.
The Board of Elections sent us two requests. One was from 2016, and that was for the poll worker compensation. So that included their election day pay, their training, and their mileage reimbursement. And then in August of this year, they sent us a request for an additional appropriation for trainee for the last 3 months of this year, right, Judy? Okay. So there are two separate requests to discuss. I provided the board with the information necessary and asked Judy to come to answer any questions that you might have.
Sure. Judy and I spoke about this 3 weeks ago, and I know she started last year talking to Steve Raybold about it. And I know the people at the Board of Elections work hard, and the volunteers on election days work hard, and it's tougher and tougher to get people to come out and work the polls. So I think that we want to make sure that we always have enough workers, and compensating them is always important. I think one of the things we talked about was so many of these workers are senior citizens, and as a result, they're on fixed incomes, so a little bit of extra money is going to go a long way for making sure our polling places are staffed. Is that correct?
We have an action
Yes.
item.
I mean, our poll workers, which they're now called precinct election officials, PEOs, but we still use the old terminology because everybody, I think, still relates to poll workers. But our precinct election officials really are the backbone of our election process because they're the people on the front line election day, making sure we get the proper ballot and all the voting is handled properly, fairly, honestly, and transparently. So, I mean, without these people, we wouldn't have very good elections.
I guess if you sign up as a poll worker, you're signing up for a 13-hour day, is that it? Or can you do
14-hour day minimum.
14? It's a long
Yes.
time.
They have to be there at 6 a.m. to set up. We open the polls at 6:30. We close the polls at 7:30, but they're, getting all the supplies ready to come back to the Board of Elections, so they're there till at least 8 o'clock doing that. So they've calculated as a 14-hour day now.
And just recap us, Judy, I think there were aren't there three separate areas that your evaluation says we need to move up the pay scale a little bit? Could you explain that? I think it was training and travel and
Yes, as far as the pay is concerned, we start with the base pay. And under state law, we're allowed to pay up to, but not more than, $133 per election day, a full day. And then, training right now, we're paying $25 because every poll worker really needs to be trained before each election. So we're paying $25 now. And then on the travel, we have a sliding scale that runs from $10 all the way up to $35. So we were kind of looking for some increases in all of these three areas, yes.
So they've asked for, currently they're paying $105 per day for the election day workers.
Yes.
And they're asking for 120, that is the request.
And before you go any further on that 105, how old is that 105? How long has that not been adjusted?
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
That was the presidential of 2008 that went into effect.
Okay.
No increases in 10 years.
So it's been going on 10 years, yes.
And the training they're asking for $35, which is an increase from 25. And then the mileage reimbursement we talked a little bit about. They had initially submitted that they were at $10 to $30, but then the board approved an increase in 2014 to up to $35. What we asked them to do is base that actual reimbursement on the mileage to and from the polling locations, and they did that, and I provided that information to you. The furthest is about $55.
Yes.
But overall, when they did that, they reduced that mileage reimbursement by about $600.
$600 by doing it more exactly.
So,
And so the request there will be for following the GSA schedule for
yeah,
mileage reimbursement?
and they used the distance back and forth, and they
With some
applied.
brackets.
Right.
With some
Yeah.
brackets.
Yeah, they applied the current rate, and then each of the 8 locations, the minimum is $10 and the maximum is $55.
Right.
Correct.
Some of the smaller counties make their poll workers keep the actual mileage that they use for doing that. But for our county, you know, we have 167 precincts, so you're talking a lot of different calculations coming back and forth and getting these people, I mean, it's a lot to ask them to keep their exact mileage, and then we're recalculating. So what we did, we broke it into ranges. We Google mapped the distance from the Board of Elections to all the polling places, and we were using 5 categories ranges, but now we're using 9 because we realized that driving to Shiloh is 25 miles one way, so one trip is 50 miles, and then when they have to come pick up supplies Saturday before the election, and then they have to return the supplies election night, so they're coming to the Board of Elections and back to the polls to drop off their rider. There's 100 miles for a person coming up from like Shiloh, Neville, in that area. It's a little bit of distance.
So since we've already seen the information and we've heard it here today, as far as any of our questions, will we be seeing this officially in the next meeting?
Yes.
Is that what the request
Yes.
will be?
So whatever the board decides today, we'll put that in form of a motion for next week.
Okay.
I'm okay.
So you want to recapitulate what it is that you want? You want to approve an increase for the precinct election officials from 105 to 120. You want to increase the training for the PEOs from 25 to 35, and you want to use the scale that was presented in 9 categories with a minimum of $10 and a maximum of $55. $55, is that correct?
Yep.
Got it.
So if Judy has outlined the motion, do we have someone make the motion?
I think she's waiting,
Good.
I think she's planning on doing that in a formal way for our next meeting.
So it is the next meeting, okay. That's
Okay.
where I was confused.
On 9/27?
Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Okay.
The poll workers will be elated because they've been asking us when we're gonna get a raise, you know. But the good thing about this is they're, you know, county residents, county taxpayers, and hopefully, and I always remind them in our training classes, remember, this is your county tax dollars at work, so make sure we spend this money in Clermont County so it comes back to us.
good. Any other questions?
The second issue would be the supplemental appropriation for the trainee for the remaining 3 months of the year. And that's not done in form of a motion. We did this last year when Mike Keeley retired. So we brought someone on to train under him for 3 months, or they did, and we approved it through an appropriation.
Well, that was the $17,100
Correct.
or something.
Correct.
So we'll do that again.
So that wouldn't be a form of, it would just be approving an a supplemental appropriation.
A supplemental appropriation, but doesn't mean necessarily have to use it, correct?
Well, that's correct, but it would be for that purpose.
Yeah.
17,000.
Correct, yeah.
And so it'll be on next week's agenda also?
Correct.
Is that correct? I'm looking at Suki, looking at Mary, like,
OMB provided us with with the amount.
is that right?
Do you
The
get
exact amount of $17,096.82.
I think that was based on hiring
that? September 25th.
September 25th. So if we could wait their budget and see what it is when they actually hire somebody and put that money into their budget, that's what we're fine.
Correct.
If the board is willing to go along
Yeah.
with saying they will do that, we'll wait to do the calculation for the supplemental later.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if they've started looking.
And that supplemental is for,
We'll be hiring somebody next week.
It would be for a trainee under Judy.
In 2018?
She's retiring at the end of the year.
okay.
Okay.
Judy, is there a possibility that Julia Carney will be replacing you? I mean, moving up, is that something?
That will be up
Up to the board's decision?
In January after I leave, the board will have to reorganize when there's a vacancy. And so they will reorganize, but I think that is their intentions, but I think I need to defer that to the board.
Well, I say that because if that's the case, we're approving for a July 1st, bringing somebody in to shadow you, but the person shadowing you could be here already. I'm not sure why we'd be
No, not July 1st,
No.
September 25th.
Yeah.
correct.
Yes, they're going to be hiring someone next week to as a
But shadowing you as director, but they may not,
We work part and parcel doing
Okay.
some of the same things. We just kind of divide up the labor a little bit and also work together is what we do on that.
okay.
It's like I always told them, you can only have one chief of an Indian tribe.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's
All
all.
right. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our poll workers, thank you.
Well, we're glad they show up. We'd be in a world of hurt without poll workers, that's for
Right.
sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Commissioners, fellow Commissioners, we've got the consent agenda from September 20th in front of us. It was sent out the end of last week. And we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda as shown.
I've looked it over and there's nothing that I need to pull to have further discussion, so I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as prepared.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. And going over to page 6, the non-consent agenda. Item 14 is to pay our bills, Resolution 143-17, in the amount of $2,703,624.09. Can we get a motion to pay our bills?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. And item 15, another motion to pay bills, Resolution 144-17, in the amount of $896.54. And can we get a motion for item 15?
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye?
Mr. Ubel?
Yes.
Mr. Painter?
Abstain.
Item 16, another motion to pay bills, Resolution 145-17, in the amount of $598.48. Can we get a motion for item 16?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Abstain. Item 16, Connie Tibby, morning.
Good morning. Connie Tibby, Department of Job and Family Services. Recommendation of Judy Eschman, the Director of the Department of Job and Family Services, with the concurrence of Thomas J. Eigel, Interim County Administrator, to execute an Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Title IV Child Placement Agreement and addendum thereto, consisting of amendment numbers 1 through 3, by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Stepping Stones Ranch out of Wilmington, Ohio, for the provision of group home services for children referred by the Department of Job and Family Services and/or Clermont County Juvenile Court. Set the rate of $220 per day per child, effective for the period of September the 18th of 17 through September 17th of 18, pursuant to compliance with the terms and conditions specified therein, and contingent upon the issuance and receipt of a purchase order.
Can we get a motion then to execute an Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Title 4E Child Placement Agreement and Addendum with the Stepping Stones Ranch, along with the contingencies as referenced in 17?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Thanks, Connie. That was simple. Item 18.
Item 18 is a recommendation to appoint Greg Holman to serve on the Clermont County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and his term would be 9/20/2017 through 9/19/2020.
Get a motion then to appoint Greg Holman to the Convention and Visitors Bureau as referenced in 18.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes, Greg will be a great addition to that board. That's been always a wonderful board with good people, but Greg will be equally appreciated. So, 19, Andy.
Good morning. Item 19 is a recommendation to solicit requests for proposals for administration of the dog warden and kennel services for Clermont County for calendar year 2018. This would also authorize the placement of a legal notice in the Cincinnati Enquirer this Saturday, September 23rd through Monday, September 25th. RFPs will be received until noon Friday, October 20th, at which time they will be opened. The notice will also be posted on the Clermont County website at clermontcountyohio.gov. The current contract expires on December 31st for these services and cannot be renewed. It's on the second of 2 renewals. And the estimated budget is $310,000, which could increase based on any increases in dog tag sales revenue.
Okay. Any questions, gentlemen?
310,000 budget annually. Is that what that runs?
That's just based on the most current annual full year's worth of dog tag sales.
And that's strictly for canine services.
Correct.
Is that it?
Is it?
We get a motion then to approve the solicitation of a request for competitive sealed proposals for the administration of the statutory requirements of Chapter 955 of the Ohio Revised Code entitled Dogs, as referenced in item 19.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Thanks, Ed. Okay, we have need for executive session pursuant to Section 121.22 G1 and G2 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider first the discipline of a public employee, and secondly, the purchase of property for public purposes or the sale of property at competitive bidding. Can we get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes, we'll be right back. We are back from executive session. No decisions were made or votes taken. We do have an add-on. Is that right, Mr. Eigel?
Yes, we have a personnel action for the Water Resources Department, Daniel Griffith. He's a Water Resources Department lab tech, disciplinary action without pay, and that's effective 9/14 of 2017.
2-day suspension without pay.
Correct.
Can we get a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. And that's all.
That's
We
all.
will take a recess while the minutes are prepared. Okay, we are back from recess. The minutes were prepared. And we have copies in front of us, and I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from September 20th, 2017, when one of you are ready.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. And then a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Humphrey?
Aye.
Mr. Painter?
Yes.
Mr. Ubel?
Yes. Thank you very much for coming. See you next week.